Hey, what's up?
We're back
With another review.
Married at First Sight, season 13, episode 16.
16.
So we are on time, y'all, and we ready to do this.
Yes, that's India.
I'm
Michelle. Sorry.
I'm India. She's Michelle.
I said that's India.
I know, and it threw me out.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, y'all, this episode was like that little in between, nothing dramatic happened, and they're trying to play up all their feelings before decision day so we can be like, oh shoot,
what are they gonna say?
So we can change our decision.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah, nothing has changed.
No.
Well, one couple changed for me. Anyways, we can get into that.
I don't know who.
All right, first Ryan met with his friend, and so we can start with Ryan and Brett. He met with his friend. His friend was basically saying, you're terrible at communicating and don't just give up on a marriage. All the stuff that we've been wanting Ryan to realize and deal with. And it was like, okay.
He's the worst. Nobody. I don't know who the hell he's going to be with.
I never realized that he did not apologize to Brett after the incident. And besides that text he sent, that little rage text, even when they met up with the group, he still hadn't apologized to her.
He didn't apologize to her even when he said he was about to apologize to her. How about that?
Yeah, she never got a true apology.
He did not say, I'm sorry, forgive me, I apologize. Like, he did not say any words that actually, like, resulted in...
Nothing. He just said, basically,
substance.
I didn't want you to find out like that.
I didn't do this intentionally.
Yeah, it wasn't my intent for you to find out about this, like this.
I feel dumb. Mm-hmm. Well, you should feel dumb, but you also made her feel dumb. I
can't believe that you knew you were seeing her at a group taping and you didn't just say, let's meet up before just to clear the air a little bit.
And by the way,
ignoring her
after he left her house that night, he went back to the shared apartment and took all his stuff
2 days later.
So that's also,
he just is a bitch. Maybe he thought she was gonna ruin it, so he was like, let me go and get my stuff. Y'all, Ryan wasn't giving nothing.
He was just tired of the back and forth, going to the house, acting like they live together, all of that. So he was like, give me my stuff. Yeah. We're done, because she now messed up. So I do think that he knows that what he did was wrong and that it was messed up, and he admitted to it. But he just never says it to her. Like, who has this man been in a relationship with?
He don't care about her. That's what Brett's friend said.
He ever dated that has accepted this bullshit from him?
He don't like her. He don't care about her.
This man don't talk.
He really don't.
He really says really a bunch of nothing.
Remember Henry from that one season?
Yes. He is Henry, but at least apparently people liked Henry in the background.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
And Brett was just so tapped out. She said all the 10 words this whole episode.
Yeah, she was not here for him.
Was tapped out. She didn't care about nothing. She barely gave any commentary when they asked in the group, like, about decision day, nothing.
Her sister called her while she was getting her stuff out the apartment. So that was her conversation with a friend. Like, they don't need to waste no camera time on them because we already know they're not staying together.
No. Hell no.
There's a no. Like, we'll see if the experts on decision day actually call them out on something, maybe. I don't know. Call him out?
Yeah, I hope. They might.
You think the experts be watching and be annoyed as us? Because I don't.
Yes. Some of them do.
Okay.
Michaela and Zach. Michaela then met with her sister. Her sister was looking at her. Okay, Michaela's parents have raised some weird kids.
Because why? Were they acting like...
I was very confused.
What was occurring was okay? Or like they was excited to talk about
like that toxic shit.
Her crazy self being like staying with Zach. Like it was...
And her sister knows she crazy. So first when she was talking, I was like, her sister see right through her.
She
but
was
then
like,
her sister was like, that's your husband. Go on, work it out. But then in the confessional part, her sister was like, I don't know if Zach is using her or... So I'm like, why didn't you say what you really meant?
I don't know. But Michaela was giving this whole... She was telling the story. It was so annoying how she was telling the story.
It was very annoying.
She's like, so then this happened.
And waiting for a reaction. She was waiting for a reaction, but it wasn't that eventful.
And it was just like...
say, it was good. I ended up spending the night. He asked me, like, why you gotta be all... staccato with it.
So not
she was chopping that story up. You don't think so? She was. was like, girl, just say what it is. Just and your dumb ass said yeah to everything.
That was the part for me.
That proves our point from last week. Zach is just trying to,
and she's playing right into it. Right,
they got some weird sexual chemistry. Let me not say weird. It's some type of positive sexual chemistry.
Toxic sexual chemistry.
It's something, y'all. It has to be something.
And then
because she surely packed her bag and spent the night. Like she said,
so I packed my bag and spent the night. But a month ago you was kicking him out or telling him you wasn't staying in the bed with him. Like, what are you doing all these dramatics for?
What does that mean? And she still said, I really don't know, sis.
But the point is, why are you doing all of this if you're just gonna go and sleep with this man anyway? Like, you out here playing games.
That's true. And then Zach, he ain't no better.
No, he's not. Because
he let her tell us she the next best thing since sliced bread.
She's an amazing woman.
When he met with Gil,
he told Gil she was great and that she didn't apologize for what she did. So that's crazy. But she
knows the error,
admitted faults or she accepted responsibility.
That was so big.
He asked her what could he have done to not make it happen, and she said nothing.
Because it was
it was all on her.
So that was so big and cool, nice that she admitted that she just has certain issues.
I don't know. The producers must have told Zach he could get a bonus if he could just hold it together.
Y'all don't want to believe that something wrong with Zach.
Zach said that he has never experienced anything like Michaela before.
In a positive way, y'all. And then he said on the Decision Day preview that she was the best
amazing woman next to
his mother and was crying. Those tears were coming out. And Zach, he's been doing good. He hasn't cried for a couple episodes. Now he back to crying about Michaela.
Wait, no. On this episode,
he cried?
No, he ain't cried. Oh. He was over here talking in circles and gibberish, telling everybody that when you say no, it's really good, and when you say yes, it's good too.
That exchange with Bao. First, I was like, "Ooh,
everybody
getting him together, honey." But what he was saying didn't make any sense.
It did not.
Bao got straight to the point. Said what made sense. Said what historically they have done in the past. You say yes, even if you don't know if it's going to work.
You gonna try. You push through.
You just say yes. You don't want to embarrass your partner. If you really want to try, you try. Who cares? They apparently if you say no on Decision Day, they pay for the divorce. Freaking $1,000. Just like who cares? If you really think it might be an inkling, or you still even kind of want to date and just slow it down and do it, still say yes.
That was like, if you say no, it's a wrap. Because the question is, do you want to stay married or do you want to get a divorce?
And divorce
means
we're
not together. Divorce don't mean let's still work on this.
Yeah.
And Zach spent the better part of that scene trying to convince everyone that it was okay for it to mean that.
Yep.
So once again, Zach has given Michaela a reprieve. I don't know. They stay just confusing us.
And then Michaela was like, well, I agree with you, Bao, and that's why I was kind of hesitant, but I don't know.
That's not why you was hesitant, because you was agreeing with him when y'all was having sex. So that's why. You agree with him when you feel like it, and then when you wake up and all the sex fog clears, then you go nuts and go bananas because he's messing with your emotions, which he is. They are literally like, she is crazy. Like, why are you being weird? Like, you are weird, bro. Zach is weird.
I don't get the Zach and Michaela dynamic anymore. Like, last episode, I was like, okay, Zach, you throwing me off. This episode, I'm like, Zach, excuse me, said what?
It don't make no sense.
Gotta be
So, I don't know what else. I mean, there were more scenes with them, but I'm going to be honest, y'all. I ain't take no notes. I was watching. We were talking, but it wasn't compelling enough for me to write anything down.
Yeah, this was a BS episode. Okay, next was, we were talking about Michaela. Exactly. Okay, so then Bao.
And Johnny, yes.
Yeah, Bao met with her friend, and they were talking crap about
Sarah.
Sarah, you know, they had already discussed what they was going to say about little Sarah before, and she was like, well, why would she throw you on the bus? Why would she do this? Why would she? We all make mistakes in relationships.
And then her friend was like, I haven't seen Bao be negative in a while. Like, so I just feel like, even if Bao was self-proclaimed downer, Debbie Downer, negative, breaking people down, like, that's not who she was in this marriage. Mm-mm. So Sarah coming in with the side note, with the, with the Cliff Notes version of who Bao was, but that's not who Bao was.
Ain't you supposed to be her best friend?
We just gonna take the best friend part off, because nobody that does that is that. Like,
even a close friend.
What? And And India has sent a clip. We saw the clip from the girl talking to her before on the wedding day, and she was a bitch to her.
Yeah, Sarah, they had a clip of Sarah talking about on FaceTime.
And she was like, get the stick out of your ass. Like, girl, who are you talking to like that on their wedding day?
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah's not a good friend, but that leads me to believe that Sarah is jealous.
Sarah is...
She probably jealous of Bao because Bao is cuter than her and Bao make more money than her. So now that Bao got on this show, because she applied too.
You know she probably applied.
And got with Johnny.
Because nobody that's married
what are the odds?
cares that
She's
much.
Mad because she didn't make her a bridesmaid.
You don't think she was no, she was FaceTiming her, so she probably wasn't a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
No, but how was she her best friend and not a bridesmaid?
Maybe Bao shady. Maybe her and Bao got a shady relationship. But it has to be jealous. I just don't know. I don't even care if this was an associate. Who goes and tells somebody, like if Bao was an associate and it was his friend, you're not going to go that deep into, like, it just doesn't make sense. That is not any type of friend. No. If that's your best friend, she is stabbing you in the back. She hates you.
She don't like you.
Like, she hates you. To do this to somebody that you love and have seen in relationships that don't work and all of this, you don't like that person.
That's too old for that.
Woo, that was terrible.
Too old for that.
But anyway, so she met with a friend that was whatever. So then
Johnny met with his two friends, and he talking about...
Yes. And they...
but that was, really quick. Bao told her friend, like, everybody he talks to, everybody he meets with is telling him the same thing. Yes. But he's
in different ways.
And she was like, and you would think that he would get it, and he still
from his family to his friends to the experts, everybody tells him.
She was like, everybody's telling him the same stuff, and then he's still trying to figure out ways for it to not be true, and that's the problem.
And his friends surely said when he sat down with him, told him
the same thing, and
they said if you can. The one friend was like, basically, if there's any inkling of hope, make it work. It's a marriage. Don't just throw it away. And he started having second guesses after he basically just came for her 2 days ago and called her the worst person in the world.
He literally changes it up every time.
And that's scary. Now that's scary. That's that gaslighting or whatever. Then that love bombing stuff that Michaela was saying Zach do.
And he honestly hates himself. Like, there's no other way to it. Like, he does not like himself.
And you made a good point. About his dad and how he treats people.
Yeah, he does what his dad does to him. Mm-hmm. And so I just think that the way that he's treating Bao is just him doing, it's like a mirror. Like, he's projecting. And then the other thing, like, anything he doesn't like, he tears her down. But the other thing is, y'all, this is the first episode that he admitted that he was a mess.
Yes.
And he had emotional wreck. Yep. He was an emotional wreck. Mm-hmm. And he also admitted that he's never stayed around long enough to have to deal with his emotions.
And he thought he was even kill and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, you did what?
So literally, anytime somebody do something he don't like or whatever, he leaves.
He didn't even get to that point.
So he doesn't even.
You don't even know he got anger issues.
He doesn't even know he
has anger issues, y'all.
Right. He has not stayed around long enough to like someone enough to care what they think, how they feel, to try to work through something. Johnny needs to have a 2-year-long session with his therapist,
and so him and Michaela need to be on the same wavelength.
Because this is just this is years and years and years of dysfunction,
and it is really sad. But him coming to that realization was kind of positive. Maybe he
literally changes his mind every other week.
You're right.
Every other day
when he does the after show too, he's sitting up there. They say he on an apology tour. They say he on the after show every one because he's trying to defend his behavior. So you're right. He's not growing from it because he's still trashing her and trying to paint negative pictures or defend his behavior on the after shows.
Like, Bao did not stand a chance because no one stood a chance because Johnny ain't right. So Johnny is never, like, he's not, nobody is right for him because he's not right.
And his friends confirmed that this episode.
Period.
Again.
So, okay.
I don't have nothing else on them.
All right, let's keep it moving.
All right, Rachel and Jose, honey.
Rachel met with her sister.
Or a friend. I think.
Oh, no, it was her friend. We don't know. We tried to rewind back. We forgot. Yeah, whoever it was.
Who Rachel met with y'all?
She was not here for Jose.
No, because her friend, I said, oh, that's the friend she called. One of the friends she called that night.
Yes.
And so she like, no, hold him accountable. As soon as he do one thing, don't just forgive him like you did in 24 hours. Hold him accountable. You can tell the friend do not like Jose.
And every time they show that clip back, it just makes me wonder why. Because the way he spoke to her was so dirty and nasty, and
he told her to get the F out.
It was downright like.
And then she actually.
I don't know how she sees past that.
I don't either. But let me tell you something. They start bringing up like the fact that she went with the ex and stuff, and he met with somebody. I think it was somebody from the cast. No, his friend. He met with his friend.
He was with his friend.
I think that after that big argument and then he locked her out, I think that would have been the most appropriate time if you're going to tell him that you stay with your ex to say it then, so we can be on the even play. I don't care about you. We're not about to stay married if you are that mad. Like, look, I had to stay with an ex because you locked me out.
Right, when she came back that morning, they were still having a very tense conversation.
Yeah, he still wasn't truly admitting that he still never admitted he did it on purpose. I would have just been like, I slept with the ex. Waiting 2 weeks later to me was like, you already know that you got a past history of cheating, child.
Right. Whatever. And a friend was like, I'll be worried about that. But Jose, it's something weird about the fact that he's not really tripping. And I'm surprised. But I think it's because he's trying to prove that he's not crazy, even though he is.
He gonna keep throwing it back in her face.
So he met with his friend. I don't remember much what he said, but he was talking about the whole the ex thing. He did tell his friend that. But the part of their little story this week that was interesting was them talking about
the
traveling after marriage.
Jose, like that little
if it ain't his way,
conversation that went on about how his life was boring. And I was like, okay, he's about to get to something. He's about to come to a revelation that, dang, maybe it would be nice. That man
took a left so quick. I was like,
and start talking about people traveling and Instagram is the reason because now people want to travel because of Instagram. So that's where there's commitment issues.
He said people, singles stay single because they be on social media.
And they want to travel.
Traveling and YOLOing.
And living their best life.
They're living their best life. Therefore, they don't want to commit. What?
I was like,
Jose, and on top of that, I just feel like everything he says is so tone deaf because he knows she likes to travel. He knows that her attitude is YOLO. Like, I want to travel, see the world. You only live once. So why do he still keep coming for very specific things about her?
And she keeps saying, it's not a single thing. I want to do that. Everybody would love to travel with a spouse or a partner.
Like, traveling is not about being single. Traveling is about wanting to explore the world.
And to be honest, it's cheaper when you do it with somebody who you sharing a room with and you...
And
I'm just confused.
She says, look,
they can do a lot of stuff
together. I want to, and she's already started to make concessions and said, let's do a trip every other year.
A big trip.
So she wants to do a big trip. She was very specific and said that you got to be on the plane for 10 hours. So all of this domestic shit, ain't no domestic trips, big trips.
I'm not counting that as a big trip.
She's not making domestic trips, big trips. This man says, oh, I still want to do all these things. She's like, those are good. Those are not big trips.
Considered trips. She's not even considering that the little trip. They're regular yearly. She not even consider that.
And
we
no
can do
matter
that
what
on a weekend, or we could do that and just get a cheap flight and go on to skiing or do whatever. That's not our.
He's like, I really want to ski. Okay, we can go skiing, but skiing is a weekend trip, boo.
He basically is never going to agree to it,
and
he is everything not to agree with
everything not to agree to it, and that is controlling as hell. Because at this point, she is a human being who likes to do things. So the fact that you are not even trying to compromise on something that she is very clear that she likes to do is a problem.
And I felt like in the past when she asked about, I could be making this up, going with other people instead of him, he kind of was taken aback by that. Like, if she went with her girls. I don't know if I made that up. If she said, if y'all remember anything like that. I feel like she talked about that. Well, I can, whatever. I might have made that up, but...
She's always been clear, though, that she wants to do it with her husband. I think the part that he's not saying is that he don't want to do them. And we don't know if it's because of money, if he's using money as an excuse.
But he just don't want
to travel. Some people are not big on traveling. Some people don't love to explore new places, explore the world. Some people like to stay close to home. So if that's what he's trying to down it, though. Right, because it's not what he wants. And so anything that he doesn't like is wrong.
So stupid. Because it's one thing if you're like, I never got into it. There's plenty of people that don't really even get into travel until they get somebody who's a little bit more and drag them with them.
Yeah, that ain't for everybody. Some people don't want to go on 10-hour trips or 15-hour trips because that means you got to be there for 10 days, 7 days. Some people don't like to be away from home for 7-10 days. That's fine. But stop making it seem like it's a problem that she wants it. It's not a problem.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have nothing else on them, and I can't remember.
They talk. So you know, it was a group. We've been chiming in on this little group session. There was a group session. They did have to talk about the things that, or Gil, you know, the moderator, Dr. Gil, said that he asked a few questions of everyone and what they would like and what would get them to say no. That's a negative ass question, but he did say what would get you to say no. And I think that, hers was communication. That's their other, Rachel and Jose. She's like, he really needs to listen. He don't listen.
And he admitted to that.
He's been very, like, subdued when it comes to what he says.
I agree. Yeah.
It's very, like, I don't know if he's just playing this off for the show. Like, oh, shoot, I looked real bad earlier. I just got to, like, tone it down. Jose gotta go.
That's true.
They was also getting a little tipsy at the little group thing.
Rachel eyes be real. I think Rachel might have a drinking problem.
Don't do that.
What?
She is socially. She is drinking socially. She does not. She does not. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Rachel be like this.
My eyes look like that every time I drink socially as well. But Rachel, how often do you drink socially? Don't do that. Anyway.
Yeah, I know y'all see it.
India.
No, let me stop.
You playing too much. Okay.
Let me stop. Let me stop calling that girl alcoholic. He might be the one with the problem, to be honest.
Oh, he does have a problem. We don't know if it's alcohol related or not, but he definitely has issues. So, last couple.
I said Mill. Will that be their
couple? I know that might be their couple name. Mill.
Gil and Myrla, honey.
Girla.
That's the not Girla.
Girla.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that is bad. But Girla, y'all, that's the couple that kind of surprised me this episode. I know they throw the wrench in there and they want you to talk about all the stuff that happened in the past and her complaining and high maintenance was the thing that he was harping on like the first few episodes.
But I'm like, spoiled brat, all of that stuff.
I'm like, y'all. She met with her friend. She brought up finances. He met with his friend and brought up the finances and the spoiled stuff. I told Michelle, I said, Michelle, I think before he even brought it up to his mom, that basically he knew he couldn't keep up with the lifestyle, and he is downing her not because, oh, I'm not motivated by money, which might be true, but it's really because I ain't never gonna be able to afford this. I ain't never gonna be able to do it. I'm trying to be a realist, and it's coming off of as very pessimistic. And I know people pessimistic. Yes. And I know that people are pissed at Gil, especially because they showed that preview and he was just coming at her. Clearly the producers, or she had to ask a question.
They chopped it up.
And it sounded very direct, and he's been very direct with her. I ain't gonna say he's not, but I'm like, he wouldn't just. I just cannot imagine somebody talking to her the way he talked to her.
Dead in her face like this.
Unprovoked or like just. Clearly, it was somebody asked a question like, what did you think at first, or how do you feel now? Like, what would be the worst case scenario? And he said it, but if he didn't, Myrla held her up.
There was, he had some tone in some of the things.
Extra with Myrla now.
He had some tone with his. Yeah. I wasn't feeling it, but what I will say is, along the same lines of what India was saying, it's very annoying that he's not just being upfront and honest with her and saying the why.
Issue is,
because the issue is not that she spends money. The issue is that he can't spend the money that she spends, and he feels like he has to, or he feels like he has to be the one to uphold take the family, take care of the family. He then said, with his mom, she makes twice as much money as him.
She comes from a traditional background. Her dad paid for everything. I do too. I knew he thought that he would have to pay for everything and for Christmas buy her $1,500 shoes, $3,000 bags, stuff that he literally cannot afford. And he feels like, as the man, I have to spoil you, or I have to give you those things. He
needs her to say, I don't need that stuff.
Exactly.
I don't want that stuff. He needs her to say that so that he doesn't feel bad when he can't do it. The problem is,
will he be able to?
She's not going to say it because it's not the truth. He's not going to. That is a foundational disagreement. Like, that's a foundational.
They should have never matched her with somebody who had such a modest.
I'm stuck on him broke.
Yeah, I mean, shit. He ain't got no money.
He said that he can afford everything. He actually said I could pay for everything, bills, but he was like it would leave him with nothing left.
So, in his mind, the man's supposed to pay everything. The bills, And that's why he was bringing up, oh, you want to stay in a high rise, He can't afford a high rise comfortably. Like, he would be scraping pennies.
Right.
And he can't afford somewhere else that isn't so expensive. So that's why he keeps so talking concerned
about it. He keeps making it a negative thing.
Yeah.
And she is not budging off of what her expectations are. Now, I do think that if he could be a little bit more vulnerable with her, then maybe he could see how willing she is to compromise.
Yeah.
Knowing where he's coming from.
Instead of just being so direct,
because
like, no.
What he's trying to change about her is about him, not about her.
Yeah.
And that's the part.
That's
true. But then he also told his mom, I want her to change because she wants to. She's not a mind reader, and she's going, you gotta just tell her.
Yeah. In her mind, you're trying to change her and everything that she likes, and you're downing her lifestyle. She may not even know, even though she comes from that traditional lifestyle, she might think people don't do that no more. Like, and she
has a full expectation that she's gonna pay half.
Yeah, she does not think that you're gonna pay for everything.
The problem is the fact that he's not saying this is the problem. Because he doesn't want to. And if he doesn't want to say it and be vulnerable that, then they're not gonna get past it.
They ain't gonna get past it no way.
They will say yes, and they will not say together.
I think they will say yes, and even if this didn't come up so big at this last episode, it's still, she's not being forthright, and he's not either.
It just don't make sense.
Or they're not taking, or she, not, because he's just not being vulnerable or not telling the truth. She's not thinking about the long haul, because I think she was really happy with Gil.
She does. I think she really does. So
I don't think she was thinking about the long haul until he kept bringing up the finance. Then she like, well, that's big. Like she initially said. It is big. It was going to eventually get the best of him, no matter if it was him being insecure about his finances or her eventually being like, I can't do this.
I'm not dealing with cheapo. So the other thing is that I thought that when they were in a group setting, he said, when he asked, like, what would make you say no? He said, my partner now being willing to change. Like, he is not letting up off of her neck. Like, he is on her neck, and it is tiring. Like, it is exhausting. And he keeps making it about her, and it's not about her. And I think that if he was honest, she would be willing to change.
Yeah, Gil was showing a lot of his insecurities this episode, and it finally came out when he talked to his mother.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, I don't remember what the outcome was. I think his mom was encouraging, but it was still, I mean, he was
over talking her just like he over talked everybody.
Yeah, he was. It was, I don't know.
She was just like, okay.
It just, I think they'll definitely say yes.
I think so too.
Decision day, I feel like they were definitely, the decision day previews, they was trying to give us a lot. We know that they've consummated their marriage based on decision day. But I kind of figured that too. Like, I didn't think that was going to be hard for them. Like, once Myrla was open to him and showed that she was attracted to him, I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is why I think they'll stay together, but not long term.
I don't think so either. I think they'll I think they'll say yes. I wouldn't be shocked that they ain't together by the reunion, to be honest.
Okay, so what else happened? Oh, so I will say that Michaela and Zach, their decision day was giving very crazy. Because Zach is crying, comparing her to her mama. We know Zach gonna say no and still expect them to be together. Like, what is going on here?
I bet you after all the theatrics, he said no, and they was like, wait a minute, huh?
Yeah.
Because that's his rationale is just unheard of.
Trash.
Like,
and he admitted,
Zach is so weird.
I used to think that I was a really good critical thinker or something, he said, and I have really good rationale, and now I'm seeing that the way that I see things isn't right. Like, he over here, he and Michaela have a whole ass situationship. They are married with a situationship. Like, what? How?
How, Sway, Mr. I've always wanted to be married.
Like, it's crazy.
And how, Miss I don't handle conflict in a negative way.
I don't believe in yelling, because that is just so unproductive. Like, they crazy.
They made for each other.
They were.
I mean, we know they not together. We need to know. I kind of, is he gonna say no on decision day? Well, no.
Okay. But this is the time for us to say what's happening next week.
Gil and Myrla, yes.
Yep.
Zach and Michaela,
no.
No. Both gonna say no, because she gonna say no, because she know he gonna say no. Brett and Ryan clear. No. Johnny and Bao. I want Johnny to say yes and Bao to say no, but I think they're both gonna say no.
No. And then Jose and Rachel, yes.
That's easy.
So I mean, we've been saying that.
I'm gonna die.
I don't think there's any. I'm
kind of excited for next week.
I hope it's good. I mean, this week wasn't terrible. It just wasn't like super
Nothing
exciting. Yeah. So, I feel like that's it. We probably missed something, but that's okay. We'll talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to
comment, like, and subscribe.
We will holler at y'all in the comments.
See ya.
Bye.
See you next week.